All right, we're back. We are COMP1006. That's Intro to Web Programming in the Winter 2017 semester, week 10, part 2 of our broadcast. We just finished talking about some pathing, and I found my problem. My problem was that I had put my about and contact pages inside of my partials pages. So my pathing was totally wrong. I've just put them inside of a contact page, a content page. So I got my about and contact page inside of a content page, content folder. So now this is my path: views content about PHP and views content contact PHP. Where my my regular template string for my my home page, which is really my dashboard, and actually one we just call it dashboard. So I'm gonna rejig this one. So refactor, rename to dashboard, dashboard.php. There we go. Yeah, do refactor. There we go. So my dashboard is this, right? So that's my template string. So at the top of my index.php, right? That's all I have. There's actually no HTML here whatsoever. My index.php, which is down here, is simply a control structure. It's just a router. So it tells me where to go, right? That's all it's doing. So it depends on what page ID I'm sending across. And this is the way WordPress works too, right? The way WordPress works is it gives you send over an ID for the page, right, in your post. And it doesn't actually show you the post page. It actually fills in the post page with the data that you want to send it. The post page is just a template that you're filling in. That's what's happening, right? So too are these pages, right? So right now we don't have much in terms of about. Like our about page just has about us and there's nothing else in here. And our contact page doesn't have much in there either. We can put some stuff in there, like for example, a whole form, a contact form, which I will in a second. So here's my contact form. And here's my about form, right? All right. So if I go back, I go to home, right? My home list and link takes me to this. That's the wrong link altogether, actually. It shouldn't be here. It should be 10. My home page takes me to this because of the reason why it does that is because in my header, right, it's pointing to the exact page, lesson 9, which is not what I want. Right? We'll talk about this in a second. Same thing with login. Login actually goes back to lesson 9 and tries to log me in, right? I don't want those direct or absolute links anymore. I want to make it so it's relative, right? But I've got that going on here. Here's my dashboard, right? And here's my About Us page, right? If I go back, here's my contact page. So depending on what I'm clicking, it's just showing me a different view. It's just filling in this stuff in here, smashing different things in here. That's all it's doing. So how do I fix my links so that it works as well? So if I go to back to my my navbar, my navbar had a bit of a problem, if you remember correctly, right? And just show you this problem here for a second. So I've got a couple of links here. I've got my local root. Remember we tried to use this whole local root system? Users, logout.php, that thing as well. And then I also have the same thing for my login. My login was actually using local root, right? But all this is a nav bar, right? This nav bar is just the navigation in links. So this shouldn't be the case. So here's my index.php. So if I click my favorite games, it should just take me back to my index, yeah? Now but the problem is my navbar is kind of embedded inside of my other links. So this is kind of weird when it takes me to index.php. Which index is it taking me to? I'll show you what I'm talking about. So again, this part, if I hover over dashboard, it takes me to index.php. But that's because of where I sit. If I go to about page, now it's going to take me to my page ID, right? That's what I want to kind of do here, right? When I click on my my users logout page, my users logout is not going to take me to users logout, right? I want to redirect myself back to my home page, back to that link. That's what I want. And when I go back to the link, my local root is going to take me back to, instead of taking me back to local root, it's going to have an ID, right, for my logout page. It's going to do my logout. And same thing with my login. My login page, instead of going local root, isn't going to do that. It's going to just send a link back of what my ID is going to be, right? And we can make it something weird like 99 or something weird like that, right? Because my logout is like, my login is like 99 or whatever, some other page that's going to be, right? Okay, let's try that out. So if I go back, just to show you this, to fix my nav bar, that's what I'm doing here. This is the problem we had last time. Inside my my dashboard.php or my index.php on the outside, I'm listening for 1 and 2, but I can listen for whatever I want. So if my case, right, if my case is instead of 1, 2, and 3, remember, do I have to listen for these things, right? Is it only, can I only listen for numbers here, or can I listen for strings as well? Am I able to listen to strings? The answer should be no, right? Because this is old school PHP, right? Well, let's try it out. What if I send off a thing that says for case 2, right? I'm just put it out there. Instead of case 2, we'll make it so it's case something like this. And watch when I do this. I want to say my case is login. Or my title is login, right? And my template string is not views content contact, right? But rather my login page. And that's under, if I'm not wrong, users. Users login.php. So users, and then login.php. Let's just check this out if it's possible, right? So if I go login, so if I can do this, if I don't have to send across numbers 1, 2, and 3, and so on, what if I can send across other things? Can my page ID, my super global variable page ID, store other things other than numbers? And then if they can I switch them? Can I use the switch case statement to do that? All right. Well, remember, it's so flexible. I can make it one thing one time and one thing the next time. So we got to figure out what makes more sense for us. All right, let's go back to our nav bar. And inside of our nav, instead of swimming around the way we did before with our with this part here for logging in, we're showing my login link. Here's my title login, right? And it's active, right? And then I want to go to my PHP echo blah blah blah, but I really don't have to do this anymore. I just have to go back to my index page. So I'm going to kind of modify this thing. So I'm going to go back to my index page, and I want to do something like this. I want to say where my page ID is equal to, and again, this is where it becomes hairy, right? In quotation marks, like single quotes, I'm going to put in there the page ID, which is going to be called login. I'm not sure if I put lowercase or uppercase. Let me just check that out. Capitals. Okay, so I'll go back to here and capitals. See if it can do that. Let's see if it can actually hold other information other than just IDs, like numbers. How does that work? All right, so I'm going to go back to this, refresh the page, click on the login page, and you can see that my page ID is messed up. Look on the bottom right hand on my status string. I'm getting these %27s, right? %27s. And if I kind of click onto it, I'm going to get nowhere, right? It tried, but it wasn't quite right. It wasn't quite right. Let me go back and fix that. Do I even have to put it in quotations? Can I just go login? Fresh. I hover over it now. You can see that it says page ID is equal to login. Click onto it, and it goes, all right, so I'm going to go ID index page, index.php, where page ID is equal to login, and bam, I got this login page part, right? But now I get some other errors. I'm getting some other include errors, right? Where my views, partials, header, PHP, failed to open stream, no such file or directory, because I'm trying to do this stuff, right? Actually, it worked, all right? So I can do what I asked to do. I can do this, what I said I was going to do. login instead of 123, right? Which kind of makes more sense, right? Instead of 123, I could use a string variable in here as well, right? The reason why this failed, my login page, is because it also loads everything else. Look, here's my header and my nav bar again. So I don't have to do this again, right? And also, notice at the top what it's trying to do. It's loading in some other information. My user information is being loaded in here. Username, password, it's going to load for my user, drag my user in, and all this kind of stuff, and try and figure out what my page title is going to be and so on, right? But I don't need to do this part. This part can be omitted, right? So if I take this out, I'm just refactoring my pages here for a second, just so you get to understand what I'm doing. I'm taking this part out here too. All right, so let's go back and redo my login for a second. Let's see if it actually works too, which is a whole other problem. So I'm refactoring my application now, so I can use this new system. Yeah, right? See this? So now I can try and log in. Now notice my page ID is login, not 123, which makes more sense to me, right? So, and now we have another problem, right? It says URL not found, requested URL comp1006, login.php was not found on this server, right? There is no login anymore the way I had it set up. I have to also do the same thing in a different way, right? Once I start playing with the settings, my friends, this all messes up. And here's the post. Notice I'm trying to go to my login PHP page, right? My login PHP page. But that's not the case, right? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm actually going to back and posting back to this, where my page ID, right, is equal to login. That's what I'm really doing. There's no login PHP, so to speak, anymore. I don't go there. There's no direct link to that. Let's show you that again. So go back here, go back to here, and put my password in and log in. Okay, let's try. It's trying to find a way of doing that, right? Again, make sure that you log in. The thing to note is what I'm trying to do here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I may have not just updated my screen here. Sorry. This is good. This is a good sign. I like this. This is fantastic. Because now my page ID is equal to login. I'm going to my index.php, where my page ID is equal to login. It says, warning, include once. My database, PHP failed to open stream, no such file or directory, right? From where I'm at, right? And it wouldn't, right? Because from where I'm at right now, where am I going? How am I getting to my page? Look at the links that I'm going to. So / / config database.php. Okay. How does it know how to do that? Because I'm actually doing it somewhere else. Look, right here, include once. But where am I really at? Am I really here, down in the dumps in here, my users? Hell no, I'm not here at all. Where I'm really at is not here, it's up here, right? So my pathing is a little wrong again, and I got to fix this problem. So now instead of this, it's going to be just this, right? Because I'm up here. I'm always redirecting back to my index page, right? My little question mark, actually there is no login page. There are no other pages. All I'm doing is injecting those pages in, and the only page that exists for real is my index.php page. Everything else is a sham. It's all links to get into those other views because I'm just injecting them. Remember? Look, are there any pages here? Hell no. They're just like a bunch of PHP commands to kind of inject my header, my nav bar, and my some kind of content right here. All right, let's see if that fixed it. So back, refresh, go back to this, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna have a bunch of these little issues until we get rid of these resolved. Okay, cool. So that's the next part. It says COMP1006 index.php was not found on this server. That's another issue, right? Because it's trying to go back to my high-end link. All pathing problems. That's what's happening right now, which we'll totally master today. No problem. We have 5 more minutes. If we don't finish it, we'll take it into the other side. So far, so good, though. I'm happy with the direction because we fixed one problem and another problem comes up. All right, so let's see what's happening. So this one takes us into my database.php. Let's check that out. So go back into my, yes?
Why can't you just solve all our problems with their name, their...
No, it's too, I did that temporarily last week. I showed you how to do that because that is not correct. That is absolute path. That means it'll work for me, but won't work for you. That's not what we want to do. Here's the next problem, right? So I come to this, my database connection, right? I include my database connection here. Now this is nothing. This is just my database connection. This worked, right? And then I come back to that page. So I come back out. We have to trace it, right? So come back out. We've done this piece. And now we're just simply going in here. / index.php is incorrect, right? Because we're already at the top level. So we're going one step higher, which is, that's why it says COMP1006. We don't want to do this. We just want to go back to this. Pathing. Let's go again. And I think that's it. Let me just check out if there's any other kind of weird pathing issues. I don't believe there is, except for maybe the cancel button, but I think cancel just takes you back out. And there it is. This is the local root. So this takes you back out to index.php, which is really back out to the main page. And if you look, I can just put index.php here, and that should be good. So index.php. Let's check this out and see if it works. Again, going back out, refreshing the page, putting the path in, right? Log in, takes us in. Okay, go back, cancel, takes us back. So now we've established a relative path that has nothing to do with DIRs and local roots. We don't need that stuff anymore. And what's what I wanted to wipe away from last week. All right? Are we clear on what I'm doing here? All I'm doing is I'm using a routing system, right, that's on the front end. So the front end would be your index.php page right here, right? So far I'm using 1, 2, and login. I'm going to change these two things. My case 1 will be about. My case 2 will be login. This is my, if you want to call it something else, it could also be called my finite state machine. Depending on where what state I want to be in, I'm going to populate the state in here. And depending on what the value is, I'm going to set the name of the title of my page and then pop into that page. I'm going to inject that page into my code, right? Now I need to change these because inside of my dashboard, my dashboard.php, it says 1 and 2. We're just going to change this to about and contact. If that makes sense. About and contact. And if I go back and I refresh the page, if I hover over it, you can see now that it says about and contact. So if I click about, it takes us back here. Okay, now this is a problem. It says, with my about, my page ID, it says that notice use of undefined constant about. Oh yeah. Oh, Tom. See what happens when you're rushing? I want to get this done. About, contact, and login, right? See, title, but I'm actually not doing it the right way. It's not about, it's about. Like quotations. I can't just put in like my value. Okay, it's my fault. This is contact. What am I doing? Contact, login, right? All right, let's go back. Fresh, about, contact. Right, see, let's see the link. Page ID is equal to contact. So there really isn't any, I'm not really linking anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. My top level page, index.php, is the only page that I'm in. I'm just injecting stuff in that page. And then when I do that, there's no pathing issues after that. And that's part of your assignment for next week. So please use my code. All right? I'm telling you to use my code for the kind of way I want you to switch in and out. Right? The idea is you have to understand how to add new links. And all I've done to add new links here is I've switched them in here, right? With the path, the proper path, relative to my to where I'm at in my index, my root, right? And then in my dashboard, or even inside of my nav bar, which I haven't fixed 100%, I just indicate where relative to my index it's going to go. Okay, I'm going to pick this up in B230 for those people who are interested. Otherwise, I'll see you next week, and I'll keep continuing fixing my structure. Yes. Later today. Yeah. I will.